Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. This is big news, folks. Almost 20% of American households lost their entire savings during the pandemic. This is incredible. Welcome to this episode of Ignition Time, everyone. And this right here on your screen is a headline from Bloomberg News. Almost 20% of our fellow Americans lost their entire savings during this pandemic. Almost a third of those making less than $50,000 a year had their entire financial cushion wiped out. Think about that for a second. You work hard all your life in order to be able to save money, in order to be able to prepare for a rainy day. And as a direct result of the pandemic, as a direct result of this thing, which was not your fault, in a few months, your entire savings are completely wiped out. For many Americans, these lockdowns with nowhere to go, nothing to do, were indeed a time to save. But for almost 20%, folks, almost 20% of American households, the pandemic wiped out their entire financial cushion, according to a brand new poll that was released by NPR. In fact, let's show you this poll on your screen right now. Household experiences in America during the Delta variant outbreak. Now, as always, we'll provide you with the link to all of our resources in the description section below, but this is quite unbelievable. Let's take a look at some of these charts here. Let's take a look at the serious financial problems chart. 38% of households report facing serious financial problems in the past few months. Okay, so think about this for a second. In the past few months alone, 38% of American households reported facing serious financial problems. This includes 59% of households with annual incomes below $50,000, compared with just 18% of households with annual incomes greater than $50,000. In other words, they didn't have any problem. 19% of households lost all savings during the pandemic and have no savings to fall back on. Think about that for a second. 19% of all households. Now, this includes 30% of households with annual incomes below $50,000 and just 9% of households with annual incomes greater than $50,000. Again, people with annual incomes of greater than $50,000, no problem at all. 32% of households say they have a worse financial situation now than before the pandemic. Among renters, 27% of them report serious problems paying rent in the past few months. Among homeowners, only 7% reported serious problems paying their mortgage during this time. Think about that for a second. Renters suffering significantly more than homeowners. Serious financial problems were felt in different areas. Take a look at this chart on your screen. 22% reported facing serious problems with credit card loans and other debts. 17% reported serious problems with medical care, being able to pay for medical care. 16% reported serious problems paying for utilities like gas or electricity. 14% of households reported serious problems affording food. 14% reported serious problems paying their mortgage or rent. And 11% reported serious problems making car payments. And 18% reported serious financial problems in other areas. Folks, that's not all. 69% of households with children in K through 12 report that children fell behind last school year because of the pandemic. 69% of households struggle with this, including 36% of all households with children in K through 12 reporting their children fell behind a lot. As far as the upcoming school year is concerned, 70% of households whose children fell behind last school year believe it will be difficult for children in their household to catch up on education losses from the last school year. There also have been serious problems with health and healthcare. Among households unable to get care when they needed it, 76% report negative health consequences. 18% of households report that anyone in their household had been unable to get medical care for a serious problem in the past few months when they needed it. There have been serious negative health consequences for US households who have been unable to get medical care for serious problems in the past. Now, 64% of telehealth users would prefer in-person visits. They say, hey, we don't want telehealth, we want to be in person with a doctor. 17% of households reported serious problems affording medical care, and half of households, this is a big number, folks, half of households experience depression, anxiety, stress, or sleep issues. On top of that, there were serious problems with employment and work. 24% of workers in the US reported having a worse job situation now compared to prior to the pandemic. Think about that for a second. US workers were asked to rate their job situation now compared to prior to the pandemic. 21% said better, 24% said worse, and 55% said about the same. This just gives you a sense of how dire the situation is across the country. This is a pretty incredible, folks. And this survey, by the way, this poll was from NPR, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and the Howard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And basically, Black and Latino households were hardest hit as a direct result of the pandemic. Now, this survey included a nationally representative sample of 3,616 American adults aged 18 or older. Now, Avenel Joseph, who's a vice president at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, said many people dipped into their savings to cover child or healthcare expenses. Here's a quote from her. When crisis hits or anything goes out of the norm, your child is sick, for example, you are sacrificing wages. Almost 2/3 of households earning less than $50,000 a year said they had trouble affording rent, medical care, and food. In fact, about 2/3 of the people surveyed said that they received financial assistance from the government in the past few months. 44% said those programs, I quote, only helped a little. Here's what Joseph said. We always knew this was going to be an uneven recovery. The safety net always had holes, and the pandemic ripped those holes even wider. Now, I can tell you that the Republicans and the Democrats are fighting it out in Congress over the fate of the $3.5 trillion stimulus plan, which, by the way, now is down to a $2 trillion stimulus plan. I did cover the stunning admission from House Speaker Pelosi on our channel and how the conservative Democrat from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, and the Democrat from Arizona, Senator Kristen Sinema, have succeeded in curtailing President Joe Biden's agenda. This is the bottom line, according to Joseph. Congress has a tremendous opportunity to chart a more equitable future for this country. This is not about shoring up bank accounts. Failure would plummet millions of families back into poverty who were lifted out of it because of any temporary assistance. And that is where things stand right now. And this is where 20% of US households stand because they lost their entire savings, not to mention 50% of American households experiencing depression, anxiety, stress, and other conditions that are psychological as a direct result of this pandemic. This, to me, folks, is the most horrific aspect of this study. Perhaps it's even more horrific than 20% of American households having no savings or having wiped out their savings. Half of households experience depression, anxiety, stress, or sleep issues, and this is where we stand right now. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please click like, please click subscribe, enable notifications. A ton of effort goes into the creation, the production of these videos, and the research of every single episode of Ignition Time. Please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.